Well, hello, writers. Welcome to episode number 408 of Ink in Your Veins. I'm Rachael Herron. I'm so excited that you are here with me today as we talk to Leftie Aubé. Honestly, you're going to be blown away. I've known Lefty a long time now from social media, from other writing circles, but this was the first time we had ever talked in person. And I just want to put her in my pocket and make her into my best friend or something. She's one of those people. It's going to knock your socks off, this interview. We're going to talk about the muses and querying, and you are going to find her as inspiring as I did. I absolutely know it. So please stick around for the interview portion. That'll be coming up right quick. What's going on around here? It's summer. I'm still swimming in the sea as often as possible. I think I've been 3 times this week. I went yesterday by myself, which I often go, by myself to the beach, but yesterday was still during work hours and I still had work to do. I had taught all morning and into the afternoon, and I had some stuff I wanted to go think about, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But I wanted to go to a cafe by the sea, and I brought my swimsuit just in case. And when I went to the cafe at this one beach that I like in Lyle Bay, the cafe was so crowded, and I'm COVID careful and I still mask, and I didn't want to be inside a crowded, very warm cafe. So I just took my drink and I went and sat in the car and I wrote and worked on this new idea in the car with a strip of blue sea gleaming at me. If you look at Instagram.com/Rachael Herron, you can see pictures of that. And then I changed in the car and went out to the beach and lay on the sand and then went in for a swim. And there were other people like me, just solo, mostly solo women, just sitting on the beach for a while, walking in and paddling around, swimming out and back. And it was heaven. It was truly heaven. And I just never get over the fact that I am allowed to do this. I got some work done and I went into the sea. Gosh, I love summer, especially after a wet, cold winter. So many of you may be in that polar vortex that is happening right now. It looks awful. I love to look at the Earth Null School site. I've mentioned it before, but you can spin the globe. I do that at night sometimes when I've run out of social media to look at because I've already spent my 30 minutes, but I don't want to put the phone down yet. And I look at the misery index because I like to make sure that my loved ones are not inside the misery index. And that shows where it's hottest on the earth and where it's coldest on the earth. And Jesus Christ, so many of you are right now in the coldest place on earth. So, oh wow, 4 monarch butterflies just flew by. Yes, that's what my brain is doing today. Uh, anyway, I hope you are warm where you are and I'm enjoying the sea. Back to this new idea. So I have a writing coach. You have heard me probably talk about her. You've definitely heard me and Sasha Black talk about her. Her name is Ellie. She is with Becca Symes' group. That's how we found her. And I don't see her as often as I should. I want to see her quarterly, and I'm going to make that happen because when we talked the other day, oh boy, I'm going to tell you something that she said, and I loved this. And Ellie is um, feet on the ground. She looks at things dispassionately, with interest, and with this overarching view, right? That's why we use coaches. They can see things that we can't see. And I said something in my worried voice to her, like, you know, I'm pulling back on teaching this year because I want to make more space for writing, but who do I think I am pulling back on what is right now the most lucrative part of what I do? And she just said, how do you know it's the most lucrative part? And my brain said, well, because I know my money. I watch my finances. I'm good at finance and I watch what's coming in. And then I heard what she was saying. She was saying, how do you know if you haven't tried the other things? How do you know if you haven't made the space for other things to come in? And it was an incredible moment. And then in I don't know, 10 minutes later, we were talking about finances and about money. And I said something about how lucky we were that I could afford to do this, that we have some savings in the bank, that we could pull back a little bit and tighten the belt even more and eat out less. And she said, "Wait a minute, let's talk about that lucky. How did that happen?" And then we went back in time and I talked about my history with extreme debt. at one point $120,000 of consumer debt that was not part of our mortgage. That we, before I learned what money was, before I learned how to handle money, which I did not do until I was until I was about 41. No, that's not possible. 13. Yeah, I was about 40. I was about 40. I'm 51 now. I was 39 or 40 when I first started understanding how money worked and how to save it and how to pay things off. And we had this discussion about how hard that had been, but how much I had learned and how I loved learning that. And I got this idea, and I'm just going to say it out loud because I'd love to hear from you if this is something, and I have a specific ask. So here it is. I'm thinking about writing a personal finance book for people who are not looking to manifest millions magically. This is for real people who just have shame and fear around the fact that they don't really know how to make ends meet. They don't really know what a Roth IRA is. They don't really know how the hell to even start getting out of the debt that they don't even quite understand how they got there or how much it is. Um, I think I'm saying out loud that I want to write that book. It is absolutely not in my wheelhouse. It is not a genre that I write, and I am not a finance expert. I do not have an MBA. I just have a lot of hard-earned knowledge that I think I can share in a way that is anti-patriarchal, uh, in a way that understands that we have to live within late stage capitalism, but we don't have to approve of it. But how do we do this ethically? And how do we do it together in a community? How do we form friendships that allow us to learn this stuff fun in a fun and easy way? And I know that that might sound antithetical to the shame and fear that goes around money and talking about money, but you know that I have always been serious about talking about money and more transparency around these things. So I think I want to write about it in a Rachel way, not in an MBA, uh, make millions because you say affirmations way, because I honestly think a lot of that is can be super harmful to different populations. And I want to do it. So I'm saying it. And the reason I'm saying it out loud is number one, I'm scared of it. So, of course, I'm saying it out loud. And number two, I want to talk to people who have learned the hard way how to handle money. I'd love to ask you some questions. Also, I'd love to get your name and information if you would like to go with me through a little lesson plan that I'm going to be putting in the book. Would you like to be my guinea pig? I'm literally coming up with this on the fly, y'all. Like I had thought about it this morning when I was journaling, but I hadn't said it out loud. If you would like to be with me on that side of it, I would love it if you reached out to me. Rachael@rachelherron.com. Just got to spell the name right, but then it will come right to me. Let me know if you have learned about money the hard way. What have you learned? And or could be a both. Let me know if you would like to be with me while I am formulating the simple, fun, friendly, helpful lessons that you would get from your old pal Rachel and perhaps share with a pal in your life who also needs to take the step. And the reason I'm doing it this way, I'm thinking of it kind of like a book club, is that I could never have taken the steps I did with our finances and how scary they were if my friend Sophie wasn't doing it with me. We were both beyond broke. We were so upside down. She was going through a divorce and had no money and didn't understand how to make ends meet. And I was 40 and unable to make the bills because I didn't know what we needed or how to do it. And we face things together. And I think that together part is super, super important. You also know how I feel about community. So anyway, now I feel like I've taken my clothes off on air and I'm gonna stop talking. But it feels like the right place to say this. And it also feels like the right time to say it on a day when you're going to be hearing from Leftie right now, because she's going to rock your world. Here we go. Here is her bio. Leftie Aubé is a horror writer who lives near Quebec City. Her flash fiction story, Can't Stand It Anymore, was published in the collection Wherever We Roam, and it was chosen as an honorable mention. She is the host of Leftie Aubé's writing podcast, where she shares her writing journey with vulnerability and positivity. You can find her on Instagram and TikTok at Leftie Aubé, and she is currently querying her debut horror novel. Please enjoy this gorgeous, intimate, heartfelt conversation. And yeah, reach out to me if you'd like to. All right, I'll talk to you soon, my friends. Bye. Well, I am so pleased to welcome to the show an old friend that I have never met in person until this moment. Will you please share your name and your pronouns with us?
So my name is Leftie Aubé, and my pronouns are she, her.
Oh, how long have we known each other? Years.
Very, very long.
A
Like
long
I
time.
was a baby writer when we met.
Well, it is so exciting to have you on the show because you are at a really exciting part of your writing journey. Can you kind of give us a backstory of your writing and where you are today in that process?
So I've been writing for like 15 years. About like 8 of those years, like more seriously, more professionally, with a
Mm.
professional mindset. Starting to listen to podcasts such as yours and the pedal to the metal. I loved it so much. For me, it will always be the pedal to the metal.
Me
It
too.
had
Me too.
it had such a big impact in my writing journey and really made me become serious about doing this as a
I love
career.
that. Yay.
So yeah, I've been writing for all this time, and all I have to show for it, like externally, is a short story published that I didn't get paid for.
But you are
But
published, and that
yeah,
is
I'm
amazing, and
published. Yeah,
congratulations.
yeah.
And where are and what are you working on right now? Because I know I'm
So
leading the question here.
no, that's okay. So after all those years of trying to finish a book and trying to come to a place where I could submit to agents, I finally finished my first novel this year, my first novel ever, which is really, 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 really amazing. This novel took me like 4 years to
Yeah.
finish. And before that, I had written like 4 first drafts of novel that I never managed to get to this point. So I could finally start querying. So I started querying at the beginning of October. So it's been 2 months. I have sent 90 queries so far.
Good job.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I've had 38 rejections so far.
Also, good
And
job. We
yeah,
celebrate every single rejection. It proves that
yeah.
you are writing. Like, it's literally worth throwing a party over. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had 4 requests so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 2 of those are still outstanding, so I'm still waiting for them. And I just got a rejection, my first rejection on a full today,
Oh, well, let's
which
talk about that. For
was,
people who don't know
yeah,
maybe this language that we're talking about, what Lefty is doing is you completed a book, you wrote a query letter, and you're sending it out to agents to see if they want to represent this book to be
yeah,
sold to a traditional publisher. And
yeah,
when you send out that query, you either normally we get a rejection or we hear nothing, which is also a rejection. After
yeah,
about 6 weeks, we count that as a rejection. I really I always think a query letter is needs some revamping or reworking if you're not getting about a 2 to a 5% request rate. And you're getting that. You're
yeah. I'm
getting
at
more
like
than that.
4.4% at the
It's
moment.
exactly. And that is it is a perfect place to be. That means your query letter is working and you are grabbing the attention of people who are looking for books. And the rejection straight out, it hurts, but okay. The ignoring, it also hurts, but it's actually a little bit better because at least it wasn't a rejection. But let's talk about the rejection on the full. So what the full means is the agent will come back and say, I'd like to see either a partial manuscript or a full manuscript, and they make the call.
Yeah,
And then you send it to them, and then you wait on pins and needles for the
yeah.
agent to get back to you. And then it really can hurt when you get the rejection on the full. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want to tell me to
Yeah,
shut the F
absolutely.
up?
Like I did all the processing today.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So actually, this was I got this this request following Pit Dark, the pitching event on Twitter, and the agent I sent her the query with my synopsis, and she was like, "Your synopsis shows so much potential," and she loved it. So I was really excited, but she thought like the pages needed work. So I reworked my pages, I submitted them to her, and she actually requested my full following that. But then she said she read it all and she felt like it still needed too much work on a line level, which I've had other agents say that my writing was strong on the line level, but like it was the concept that didn't grab them. So, you get
Oh, it's so
opposing
hard.
thoughts.
Yes.
Yeah. And she was like, I cannot expect you to do that type of work. And I was like, I'm glad to do that type of work. Like, but it
Right.
just showed that she wasn't the right agent for me, because the right
Yes.
agent will be happy to do this type of work with me.
And that is something I was just talking about with a person pretty recently who was really concerned that their manuscript was not going to be in perfect shape to send to this agent that was
Yeah.
their dream agent. And I was like, the manuscript doesn't have to be in its tip top perfect shape. Agents expect that
Yeah.
the right agent for the right book will work with you. And when
Mm.
I look back on the book that my agent took me for, it was not good. And we did so much work on it. And I'm such a better writer now. But she wanted the concept and she wanted me, and it was the package deal.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
person wasn't right for you, but it still
Yeah.
sucks. So let's celebrate
But
you living through that. And it
yeah,
was
but I
amazing.
just want to say what I did to get through it, because I think it
Tell.
could be
Yes.
helpful to other
Yes.
writers. So when the rejection came, like it really hurt and I wanted to cry.
Of course. I'm
And
surprised you did not.
so
I usually
yeah,
did.
I was with my kids, so I managed
Yep.
to contain it a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky that I have like a day job who's flexible. So I just asked like for a couple of hours of work, because I couldn't work. So I watched a movie. I watched with Whiplash, which is a movie which helped me with
I haven't.
popcorns, and then I meditated, and then after that I was like, okay, let's go, we're going back and we'll find the right agent, and I will go back to this manuscript and I'll see if I can make it better before I get another request. And I was like, I'm not stopping, like I will find the right agent at the right time. So yeah.
You did some amazing things there. You did something that you enjoyed that would also take you out of your head a little bit,
Yeah.
right? But in a healthy way. You didn't drink a fifth of vodka. And then you did something really beautiful, kind of like for your mind and spirit with the meditation. And then you were able to move forward. And I am not saying that anybody who goes through this should be able to do it in a movie and a meditation. I feel like you might be pretty advanced along this pathway,
Yeah.
because some of us would take 70 movies and 4 hours of meditation to even be able to like go back to email. So, but really well done.
But I have lots of experience with rejection, and I
Yeah.
think like during those 8 years that I've been working a lot, writing a lot, I've been writing lots of short story, because for some reason I thought that having some short stories published would help me get an agent. And now I know that it's actually the other way around. Like when you have a book published, it's easier to get short stories out. But
It's
anyway,
true. Yes.
that's a whole other
Whatever.
thing. But I worked on short story and I submitted them like super intensely. So I got used to rejection on a small level, and
Yeah.
got to understand that it doesn't have anything to do with me. Like it's not the right market, it's not the right place, it's not the right time.
Yep.
And like right now I have a short story I've submitted to like 23 markets, but I've had like many people tell me that they love this story, that it's super good and everything. So I know right now that it doesn't have anything to do with me or my story.
Yep.
But it took me all that time of processing rejection to get to this point. And like before, I would cry so much when I got a rejection, and I would be like, maybe I should stop this. Like, this scene in La La Land where she said, maybe I'm not good enough. Like, this is
Yeah.
what I felt every time I got a rejection. Like, maybe I'm just not good enough. But the fun part about writing is that the more you write, the more you read, the more you try, the better you get, and eventually you'll be good enough.
Yeah. But what a fantastic way to do it on the micro level with the short stories.
Yeah.
Because you could then write another one and send it out as
Yeah.
widely. I just have a student last week who had gotten she's been sending out short stories, and she'd gotten 45 rejections and just got an acceptance, like rejection, just flat
Wow.
out rejection, just got an acceptance at a truly prestigious journal, who just said this is the best
Wow.
thing ever and we love it. And it shows that it is great. She knew it was good, but after 45 rejections, you're like, no, it's not great, but it is. It is. It
Yeah.
was looking for the
Yeah.
right place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for you on this journey. All right, let's talk to
Me
you
too.
about the questions I love to ask on this show. Uh, what is your writing process look like? Where do you fit it into your incredibly busy life with a job
Yeah,
and with
because I
kids?
have, yeah, I have two kids, small kids. So one is at daycare, the other one is at school, and I have a full-time day job. So yeah, and I've
Oh my
chosen to
gosh.
be in harmony in my life because like this time last year, I was trying to do it all and do too much, and I was neglecting my physical health, my mental health. I was neglecting too much my sleep, and I just became really really sick, like really 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 sick. So I really understood that it was important for me to be in harmony in every aspect of my life, because if I didn't do that, I could not write. So
Yeah.
I needed that in order to have my writing career. Whereas before I thought like I need to put everything in the writing career. And when I will be a full-time writer, then I will be in harmony. But it doesn't work that way.
Gosh, that is
Um,
so healthy and so good. It actually can get worse later on, like as the books are published. So the fact that you know that now and are working and are doing that. So talk to us about that harmony. How have you set that up?
I wake up at 4 in the morning.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm throwing harmony out the window now.
No, but I go to bed at 9, so it's not
Okay,
that
all
bad.
right.
Like I still get my 7 hours of sleep. But this time in the morning is like the time that my partner is asleep and my kids are asleep, and this is my time for me. Like
Yeah.
it's the best time for me. And I wasn't like, um, how do we say that when you wake up early in the
Oh, the early
morning?
bird, the lark. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't an early bird at all. Like I developed myself into one. But so I wake up at 4, I do my meditation because it's super important for me. Then I do a bit of journaling, a bit of intention, and then I go into writing before like the big routine with the kids and everything. And it gives me just about like 45 to 30 minutes of writing per day, the
But
days
that's
of the
all we
week.
need. That is all we need,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
But this
it
is
gets it
something that
done.
I'm struggling with because I love writing so much and I want to do it so much. And it's like, oh, if only I had more time. But so then I do like all of my days and then routine with the kids. And when the kids are asleep, I do my walk with my dog, to try to move my body and move my dog
Mhm.
too. And then I have this time at the end of the day where I allow myself to do whatever I want. So reading, watching TV, or sometimes it will be writing when I'm super motivated by a project. So that's about it. And on the weekends, like that's the period where I'm spending time with my kids, with my partners, doing mom stuff too,
Mhm.
like laundry, which needs to be done at some point. But I'm protecting now my weekends, really making them not about writing, but about family, because, this time never comes back. So that's how I found like harmony, but I'm struggling with like not having enough writing time, to be honest, because I just love it.
But there's something also delicious about, not having quite enough time because your heart is always like, oh, I can't wait to get back. I can't wait to get back. You never have the point where like, oh God, I gotta go write some more. You're like, I get to go write. I get to go do this. What are you working on right now while you are querying?
So I started working on a short story, a horror short story, the idea was nagging at me a lot, like it wanted to be written. So I'm writing it. And just to give me like something small to finish and complete before
Yes.
I go back into another novel that will take me 4 years to write again.
The
And also
lovely
like I'm
palette
torn
cleanser.
between what?
Oh, sorry. A palette cleanser. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm torn between two ideas. So I'm just waiting to see like which idea
Um,
will be the one to be the next project. But yeah, I'm working on on a short story right now, and I'm having so much fun with it. It's fun to go into a new characters and a universe after like so long with the same book. Like it just feels
Yes.
good to write something new.
It must be so freeing. And also, that was an excellent, perfect answer about what you are doing while you're querying is
Yeah,
writing. And so many
yeah.
people say, no, 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 I'm in the querying phase. And I always say, no, I mean, take some time to write that query letter and perfect it, but then it's only going to take you 5 minutes every once in a while to send out 10 or 20 more. But you
I
have to
took a
be
month
writing.
off completely to send those like 90 queries because it
Yeah.
takes like a lot of time, especially if you personalize as much
Yeah.
as you
To
can.
find them. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I'm trying to do. So I took some time off, but now I started the new project, and it, yeah, it's fun.
Good.
And it takes
Good.
the mind off the project. There is something new that you can have some hope for. So if this doesn't work, then there's something else waiting. Whereas when you don't have anything, like it can be discouraging a bit.
You are doing this so beautifully. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to writing?
So there's the time, of course. Always
Yes. Well,
feeling like
yes.
I don't
Yes.
have enough time. But I would say my biggest challenge has always been like self-doubt. I started being super confident like when I was like in my teenage year when I started writing. I thought I was this like child prodigy, would like get famous instantly. So I was crushed down pretty quickly when I started trying to publish, and I got all those
Yeah.
rejection. And I think getting all those rejection and being alone for so long also in my writing career, I started to think like I'm not good at this, I'm not good enough, and I started doubting basically
Mhm.
everything that I was doing. um and I tried to learn a lot to combat that. But yeah, it's a big process. And in the last year, I've done major work on this, and I'm seeing how much it's affecting my writing when I'm trusting myself, trusting my muses plural. I believe there is more than one. And
Oh, you
trusting
can't
the
just let that hang
idea.
there. Talk to us about the muses.
Oh,
What are they to you? I would love to go there. Let's go there.
I'm very woo woo when it comes to
Me
all of
too.
those
So
stuff.
let's do it.
Yeah, I know that it's not a problem for you. So I see them usually like in my shower. That's when I'm like able to visualize them the most. And like there is one who's responsible for like world building, and she's the one who thinks about all those crazy things that like the imagery and the world, the magic system and all those things. And there's the one who's super lyrical, like she's the one for the prose, like doing beautiful sentences. There's the one like who plans like structurally, the one who makes sure everything works on a big level. And then there's the librarian who just goes and pick up things in every book, like craft book
Yes.
or other book published, to be able to make something good and new. And there's the girl on her office. She's the one with tons of paper. She never looks at me. She's always down on the paper, and she's the one who runs it all. She's the one who makes sure that everyone do his job, and she's the one I communicate with when I write. Like she's the one who I can like make contact with, because the other one are too much like in the air.
That's beautiful. And
That's
you
how
make
I see it.
that is beautiful. And you make contact with them all and with her in particular because you show up, because you do the work. You can,
Yeah,
I don't know how you feel about this. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I believe
yeah,
that we cannot contact the muse or muses unless we are doing the work. Like we can think and
yeah,
hope and pray
absolutely.
and talk to them and wish for ideas, but until our fingers start moving on the keyboard, they don't start.
Yeah, and we need to believe in them and know they're
Yes.
them and trust them. Like
Yes.
the lyrical one I talked about, like the one on the line level, for
Mhm.
so long I thought didn't exist. I thought I didn't have that kind of news. But when I was open to say that maybe I was able to write beautiful sentence, suddenly she appeared, and I was like, I can write beautiful sentence. So now I trust her when I need her. I know she's there, and it
I'm
makes all the difference.
having goosebumps. When are you going to write this article so that we can all read about it? Seriously, this
I
is
will do a
so
podcast
beautiful.
episode at some point
Please
on
do.
all those things. This and
Please do.
the ideas too. Like for me, ideas. There's a big woo woo about this. Like a bit like Elizabeth Gilbert in The Magic, but
Yeah.
I'm agree with you that ideas wait on you. They absolutely do wait on you.
I think they do.
But I really believe that ideas are external to us. And
Yes.
that's actually who I'm trying to please when I'm writing. It's not like a potential reader. It's not even myself. It's the idea, because I'm doing the work for them so
That
that
makes
they
me
could
want to
be like
cry.
manifested into the world.
That like brings tears to my throat. That is such a beautiful idea that you are, I mean, idea of an idea. We're very meta right
Yeah.
now, but pleasing that idea and satisfying that idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna really have to chew on that. I think that is incredible. And when I let go of what I'm trying to do and I allow what is supposed to happen and just supposed to come through me, that is when writing is the easiest and the most
Yeah.
joyful.
Yeah,
And
exactly. And it also helps me because, I'm sure you're this way too. We get so much more ideas than we will be able to write. And I'm making lots of peace with the fact that sometimes those ideas will go to another creator. And
yes.
when that happens, like, I'm super happy. And when I see that the creation that was born out of an idea that visited me, that happened to me.
Oh,
And the movie that came out of it was like so amazing, and I knew I wasn't the right creator for this idea, so I let it go. But I was like sad because I was like, oh my god, you're so good, but I'm not the right. And when I saw the idea manifested, I was crying because it was so beautiful. And I'm like, you made the right choice. Like, you contacted the right writer, and I'm so happy for you that you got manifested in this way. And I talk again in the shower with my ideas, but I feel like seeing them as they just need to be manifested right into the world, and it's not about us, it's about them. Like, it allows us to have a bit of detachment, because I had some friends who, like, this happened to them, like they wrote a whole book, and then a book got published and got super big that was basically the same idea, and they were crushed by it. But I was like, the goal is not for us to write all the books. Like, the goal is
we
for the
can't.
idea
Yeah.
to be manifested.
Yeah. Oh, that is serious. Okay, we can hang up now because I just need to go like lie down and think about this. This is really incredible. What
That's super
what
woo. Like,
that's
I'm
it's
safe
super
to
woo
be
and
woo
I
woo
know
with you, but
we've
I love seeing it this way. Like,
yeah.
it allows me to detach from it a bit, and it's just me. Because if it's like, I think Elizabeth Gilbert talks about this, like, you need to be detached so that if it gets big, like, it's not all you, and you don't get
Mhm.
your ego like busted up.
Yes.
Or if it doesn't go wrong, if it goes wrong, then it's not all you too. So I think there's something healthy about seeing it as something that comes through you, and not just you created it all alone by yourself,
It just makes ultimate sense too because we all have the same critical voices, the ones who say that we're not good enough, we're not worth it, or we're not worth doing this, we're this will never happen to us. And that's kind of what proved to me that muses existed too, was that
Mm-hmm.
if we all hear the same voice, the exact same critical voice, and everybody does across all creative passions, then it's not us. It's not me. I'm not creative enough to be that mean. It's just an
Yeah,
external
yeah,
force that I need to be able to say, thank you. I will need your critical opinion when I'm in revision, but I do not need it now. Please go sit over there and take your
yeah.
time. You can't have any control over this. So then when the muse comes, she's also not me.
and
She's also
that
external.
helps
Hmm.
to know that the voice of resistance is not you. Like, when I
Yeah.
understood this concept because of the war of art, like, it made all the difference, because suddenly it wasn't me who were critiquing myself. Like, it was
Yes.
just something out there. And
Yes.
like, it's easier not to listen to it when you know that it's just out there and it's not yourself,
And that
and that made a huge difference in my
me
writing
too.
career.
Me too. And that every other single person that I admire the most hears the same voice.
Yeah,
That's incredible. Oh,
yeah.
I feel like you already have, but can you share a craft tip with any of us?
I have two. I will do
Yes, please.
if it's okay with you.
Yes, of course.
Um, so the first is I got from StoryGrid, and I think it's what made the most difference, like in my writing, and it's to think about the shift in scenes. And I do a draft pass with everything where I just look at the shift. I got the draft pass from you, and it changed like my editing completely. It's so
Good,
magical.
good.
So I will do this draft pass to be sure that there's a clear shift in every scene, so you know that the scene have a purpose. So it can be a shift like on for the characters. So maybe at the beginning of the scene, she thinks the guy doesn't like her, and at the end of the scene, she realizes he does. Or it can be a shift for the reader too, and that changed a lot when I understand that it doesn't have always to be the character who has a shift.
Mhm.
So, for example, you can think, the reader can think at the beginning of the scene, there's only one suspect for this murder, for example. And at the end, like, oh, no, there's another one, but the character doesn't know it. So that's something that I think is super important to make sure that every scene works. And then this other one, like, it becomes my superpower. And it's when you're confronted with any writing problem, no matter what it is. It can be like writing the query letter to like having a big plot hole, or just writing the first page, anything. You go and you go see like, just give me a second. My dog wants to get out.
Of course. We welcome dogs on this show. Oh, it wants to go
My,
away. Okay, bye, dog.
yeah, I wanted to go away because my partner just arrived. So when you have a problem with your story, you go check like 3 to 5 other stories in your genre, your category, and you go see how the writer fixed the problem in their story. So you can see, it will make you think about ways that you can actually do it. So if your middle is sagging, then you can go and pinpoint what did the writer do in the middle of their book to make it move forward. So then you can say, okay, I can play with this, I can play with this. And sometimes you will realize that it's about the same thing in every novel, just done
Yes.
differently. So you can play with it too, and you can turn the tropes on their head. So that's something that I really love, because I know that no matter the challenge I will face when I'm writing a book, there's always like a solution, and I can find it like in my library or in the movies or something like that. So that's my that's something that helped me so much when I started doing that.
That's beautiful. And I love that if we ask the question and then we look for the answer. I like how you said it can be found in books or it can be found in movies, but the point is that you ask the question, like, I'm stuck here in the middle. What do other people do in the middle? Then you're going to see middles everywhere else, or the thing that you are asking about will then come to be viewed, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like the way you think about this stuff. All right. What is the kindest thing anyone's ever done for you in your writing career?
I think the kindest thing we can do for each other as writers is to believe in one another.
Yeah.
And like, you've been part of this at the very beginning. You've had no reason to believe in me because you have never read anything that I've done. But just by my vibe, like, you told me you believed in the possibility that I could make this. And I've had
100%.
the
I do.
chance.
Yeah.
And I've had so many people in this journey that I developed relationship with who believed in me along the way, either because they read what I've done and they were like, okay, it's good, or just because they heard me talk about it. And I really think this belief, when you have no external proof that you're going to make it, to have those people around you who believe in you no matter what, like, it makes all the difference in the world. And it doesn't have to be like, for me, like, my parents believe in me and my partner believes in me, but I know that some people don't have those people believing in them. But it could be anybody else that you meet on social media or in writing groups or things like that. And it really makes the whole difference. And that's the trick you told me like years ago when I was really struggling. You said, go find your people.
Did I say
And
it? I'm glad, because that's so important. It's the one of it's
that's the best tip I ever had.
yeah, it really is, right? I don't ever sugarcoat that. Like, it is one of the top most important things, like up there with reading. Up there with reading
Yeah.
and being passionate about words is making your community, finding your people, no matter how hard you have to how hard you have to work to find them, you have to find them.
Because
Yeah.
like, you need to have people who understand what you're going through in
Yeah.
that, because the people who aren't writer, who aren't pursuing the same thing as you, will not understand the struggle that you live. And being understood and still being believed in, no matter the struggles, like
Yes.
makes really all the difference. And if anybody listening like has trouble finding their people, like I have the third episode of my podcast is all about writing friends and how to find them, and I give like all the ways I've made writing friends, because now I have like, I'm so lucky, I have so many amazing writer friends. So I just gave all the ways that I found those people, and really go check that out, and go find your people, because it really 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 makes it all way 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 easier. Even though it's still hard, it's easier when you're not alone.
And if you search for Leftie Aubé on any podcast catcher, it will be there.
Yeah,
Aube. So that will come
yeah,
right up. How
yeah.
about, what is the kindest thing that you've done for yourself as a writer?
Work on my mindset.
And how?
It's
Tell me
really
how you
made
have done that.
so I've gone deep, deep, deep into personal development. I've gone deep into manifestation. I've gone deep into, like I said, meditating, and just listening to other writers who have gone through this path and who made it at the end being what I want to be, which is a full-time writer, and really trying to understand how my brain works, to be able, like you said, like to say that this voice who says that it's not true, and to be able to process it all. Because when you're not working on your mindset, you can be so destroyed by all of the things that happen in this journey, and this journey is supposed to be fun. Life is supposed to be fun. So if it's not, there's something you can do for yourself, and it's work on your mindset. Because if you wait for external thing to make you feel good in this journey,
It
it,
never
it
will.
will not work. I've tried for a long time and it didn't work. But when I started to try to find those answers internally, and find this validation internally, and to sit with my thoughts and to analyze my thoughts and decide to change them, like it really made all the difference. And yeah, that's the kind of thing I did for myself.
And what that does for us is it puts us in this beautiful place of always being able to find contentment in this moment, no matter where
Yeah.
it is, whether we are just thinking about writing, whether we're pre-publication, whether we're post-publication.
Whether we
It's
got a rejection
yeah, whether
on
we
a
got
poll.
the rejection on the poll today. And that, oh yeah, there could not be anything. I already believed in you 100%, but now I believe in you like 1000% by the way. But that's what happens. And often
That's
I
so
talk about
nice.
it, like we believe in our writing friends so much. And then what's always funny is that, like, writing friends have a lot of writing friends, and there's a lot of books out there. And eventually I'll get around to reading a writing friends book. And I'm like, hey, this is as good as I thought it would be. It's always so nice, but I'm always right. Okay. So speaking about books, what is the best book that you have read recently, and why did you love it?
Oh my God. I read an amazing book by my friend recently. She hasn't published yet, so I cannot. She's worrying too. But the best book that I've read recently, which is published, is The Need by Ellen Phillips. And I really think that when something is good, like even if it's not exactly the genre that you like, you can really like it. And that's why I'm
Yes.
trying like every genre.
Yes.
And this is more literary than what I usually like to read.
Hmm.
But I wanted to read a book like about mothers, because my book is a mother book, and speculative. And that was it. And I fell into this book like wholeheartedly, and I read it so fast, and I was like, this was amazing. But I've heard many people say that they really don't like it. But for me, like, oh my God, like I loved it all. And like the ending is weird, but I loved it weird. And yeah, it was great. I really 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 loved it.
That's the mark of a successful book for me, is a book that inspires big emotions in people, whether it is that they love it or hate it. We don't want that ambivalence in the middle. That's
Yeah.
that's that's where things die. Yes. Okay, so if people want to follow along on your journey, what are the best places where we can find you?
The best place is Instagram. I've been
You're
doing my Instagram account for so long, and I really, really love
you're
Instagram
so
with
good
all
at
my
it.
heart.
You're so good at it. I really love the way you write on it. You use it as, like, mini journals, mini blogs. and
Yeah,
so
exactly. That's
enjoyable. Yeah.
exactly what I'm doing. And I'm always like sharing my journey and what I'm going through with as much vulnerability as I can, because I think it's important to show the struggles and it's important to show the rejection. And the number of times people have DM'd me saying, "Oh my God, thank you for sharing this, because I know that I'm not alone now. Like
Mm.
it's worth everything." And I'm always also positive. Like I think you can see
Mhm.
it from this interview. Like I'm always trying to come back to being positive, because that's just the way that I am. I'm a Ted Lasso in that way. But yeah, that's what I'm
Amen.
doing
Yeah.
with my Instagram. And if you are a writer querying and you're interested like in the whole querying process, just shoot me a DM and I will add you to my close friends list. And on this list, like I share every rejection I get as I get them. And I'm not sharing them like publicly just because like it's answers from agent, and I just want to keep it a little bit more
What
private. But
a smart idea though.
yeah, but everyone who sends me a DM saying, "Hey, I'm interested in seeing your rejection," like I will put you in and you will have everything. Like it's not like super just for my close friends,
Right.
but I just want really it to be for writers. So so you can do that. And I also have a podcast that I haven't like updated in a long time because I'm trying to have some harmony in my life. And when I was doing it every week, like it was just taking way too much time and I was not sleeping,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
not good.
Yeah.
But I want to keep on doing it. Like doing this with you really makes me want to do an episode. I want to do an episode about finishing my book, about my attitude towards querying,
Yes.
staying like happy in querying. And I will do one about the muses just for you.
Please do.
Going deep with the muse and the ideas.
I am so serious about that. I need to listen to that like yesterday. I just think it's such a beautiful concept, and the way that you explained it is just rocking my world. So yes, 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 yes.
So
Lefty,
I
what
will
a
keep on doing it.
joy.
Like the podcast isn't dead. I will keep on doing it. And once I'm a full-time writer, because I will be at some point, once
Yes,
I'm a
you will
full-time
be.
writer, it will be updated every week. So the podcast is here to stay forever. And I'm sharing like my entire writing journey is the first episode. Like I go back like when I was in preschool, like I go back super and I say everything. So there's a lot there if you enjoyed our conversation today.
The person who doesn't enjoy a conversation is a cold dead stone. Well, stones I don't think are dead. So like just yeah. Everyone has enjoyed this conversation and I hope they have enjoyed it half as much as I have, because this has just been tremendous and wonderful. And how
Me
lovely.
too.
Thank you for being on the show, Lefty.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Like I'm so happy.